Welcome and thanks for tuning in to Bourbon Battles. My name's Joe. Hey, we got a fun episode for you today. If you know me very well, you know I love these smaller distilleries. So what do we have for you today? We're going to talk to you about everything Oregon Spirits. We'll be right back with you. Okay, coming right back with you guys. Hey, thanks for joining us again. If you're from Oregon, you probably already know about these guys. If you're not, you probably don't. I just saw a review somebody put on Facebook that they picked up one of these bottles and how much they loved it. And I've been meaning to get to this episode, so I thought I got to come right out and do this. Oregon Spirits out there in Oregon was gracious enough to send me these 6 bottles. So what we have here is their bourbon, their rye, and their wheat whiskey. Rye whiskey and wheat whiskey, not to be confused with high rye bourbon or wheated bourbon. So that's fun, right? And then they make them in 2 different proof points, right? Bottled and bond, so we got 100 proof. And then their regular expression, 94 proof on the bourbon and 90 on the wheat and the rye. So I prefer higher proof whiskeys typically. So I usually gravitate to the higher proof of anything, and this is going to be no exception, guys. These are great if you're newer to whiskey, or if this is what they have in your area. Don't hesitate to pick these up, guys. I'm not one of these people that think, if a whiskey's not 130 proof, it's horrible, right? I'm not a cowboy. I don't need that stuff. I do like higher proof stuff, but there's nothing wrong with a nice glass of 80 proof, 90 proof, 94 proof whiskey. Guys, don't let that scare you away from any brand, let alone this one, guys. So today I want to concentrate on this series. This is the Bottled and Bond series. It's the higher proof, right? I prefer that, so that's what I'm going to talk about. So we'll slide these right over here out of the way a little bit and get into these one at a time, right? So I'm pretty pleasantly surprised with these guys, right? The bourbon's 4 years old, the rye is 5, and the wheat is 5, and the rye is 4. It's just good stuff. If you're looking for a traditional Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey and you don't like any variation, this may not be for you guys. This stuff is a little bit different. Let's just see. This is the bourbon here. The nose on this whiskey is worth it for me to pick up a bottle. Like, I could just nose this whiskey. I love the nose on this. It's excellent. It's got that, I always call it like the Willet funk, right? The pot still funk. I have no idea if this is made in a pot still, or if it's got to do with the environment, but I appreciate that note in a whiskey. It's also got some really, really sweet notes that really start showing up on the finish, and I really appreciate that in the whiskey, guys. This is excellent whiskey. If you only own 5 bottles of whiskey total, is this the one you want to pick up for your 6? Probably not. But if you're getting into whiskey, you'd probably need to look at these, guys. The price on these is not high at all. I see these at the Total Wine by my house in Central Indiana. They have them. Man, that is just good. So I'm going to go next to the rye. Let's just show you this right here, the rye. For whatever reason, I feel like smaller distilleries, I always like their rye the best. I'm not really sure why that is. That's just how I am. It's got, I think I like that more than I remembered. I've been into that a little bit. I've had these for a little while. You really got to appreciate that spearmint, that traditional rye forwardness, that spiciness, because it's all there. Right? Like you're in a pine forest and it's just deliciousness. With a little bit of that sweetness on the back, right? That is a lot of the same flavor notes that you get in a traditional rye. It's fantastic. And let me tell you, I've made some old fashions with that. It stands up extremely well in an old fashioned. By the way, guys, all this series, the Bottled and Bond series, all come in a real nice presentation box. I'll throw a picture of it up there just so you see what I'm talking about. I've taken them out. Now this wheat whiskey, right? This is the one I was most excited to try. You know, I love wheated bourbon. I like wheat whiskey in general. There's not a lot of it on the market, right? The barrel proof Bernheim I really like. You know, anything with that wheat in it, I really gravitate to. I've never had anything like that. It's got that same, and please don't mistake me when I say that funk in the back, you know, that funk, that pot still funk, that willet funk, whatever it is. I have a hard time expressing what I'm trying to say with that, but you may know what I'm talking about. Don't take don't take the word funk as bad. I like it. You know, as I said I was going to pick a winner of the three. It's my favorite, right? So if I had to suggest you go buy one, this is what I suggest. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. But I would suggest for the price point of these, you try one. You like it, you try the next. You like it, you try the next. And for me personally, I would start off with the bourbon. The bourbon is my favorite. This is this is excellent stuff. And then I'd probably go with the rye because it does, you know, it stands up so well in a cocktail. Just for sipping, I actually, believe it or not, probably prefer the lower proof rye. It's delicious. That'd be good on a cube of ice, guys. So if you've not tried uh, Oregon Spirits, you need to get out and get you a bottle of Oregon Spirits. And thank you guys for sending this stuff to me. I love it when these smaller distilleries send stuff to me. Um, you know, when I'm out looking for bottles of whiskey, right, I don't necessarily gravitate towards the things that everybody's talking about, right? I don't need what everybody's chasing. I want to have something unique on my bar for you to try. And right now, this is unique. This isn't going to be unique forever. They're going to get their name out there. I don't know if they're going to up production at any point, but this is great stuff. Check these guys out and get a bottle of this on your bar. You can offer something to somebody that they probably never had, and that's a big bonus and a big win in my book. So hey, you're watching Bourbon Battles. Again, my name's Joe. I want to remind you, drinking bourbon is supposed to be fun. Do it with your friends. Do it responsibly. But remember, like my dad always said, it's better being full of whiskey than full of shit. See you next time.
If you drink, don't drive to the watermelon crop.